All right, you guys. Hey, we're live. We got access back, but today we're going to be. I don't know if you can see it, but this is like called a photo carve. Let me see if I can zoom out a little bit. This is MDF, and this is CNC carved from a photo into wood, into the MDF, and then I apply some shellac and some paint afterwards, and then right now I'm going to seal it, put a sacrificial coating in, and we're going to rock. So here we are. So we're going to be doing, we're going to be putting the shellac on this here in a moment. This is a photo carve. For those of you guys just chiming in, I'm not sure if you're sticking around, but I'm going to be applying some shellac to this MDF board. And then after that, once it's dried, we'll be back and we'll paint it. But in the meantime, let me just stir this up. Welcome. This is my first live. I tried to go live the other day, but they gave me a strike. And I tried to appeal it, but they didn't speak my language. So, anyways, we got access back, which is awesome. Happy Sunday, y'all. Hope you guys had a good day at church. If that's what you do, I do. But one moment here, we will get to applying the shellac onto the photo carve. But I want to do this because I'm going to make a mess. All right. So this is a photo carve. You don't got to be too crazy. We're just going to get as much of the shellac into the grooves. So what you're seeing, you can't really see, but these are grooves, like a little record, like a record player. And it'll make sense once I finish painting it. But they're at different widths. These little lines, and they go at a 45-degree angle this way. On this picture they do. So this is going to be a memorial piece for a brother of mine's mother-in-law. She passed away. Passed away a couple weeks ago on the 13th, I believe. And I never got to meet her. But, you know, I got to meet her son-in-law, which is a blessing. You know, you meet a good, so I thank her, you know, if she's a part of his life. And anyways, so this is a memorial piece. This looks like a wedding photo. Well, it is a wedding photo. I don't know why I say it looks like one. It is one. And I'm just applying shellac on here liberally. Obviously, there's other ways I can apply it. Typically, I would spray it, but then I wouldn't get to talk to you guys. So, here we are, doing the do. I might switch over to a foam brush. I guess I could give a lesson. So, I do a lot of photo carves. I'm not going to toot my own horn. There's not a whole lot of people that do them. There are, but there aren't. And I do them pretty good. I'm not, like I said, I'm not tooting my own horn, but I really enjoy it. I've got a passion for it. I just kind of have a knack for making it work. Making pictures that don't work. And you just make really cool gifts. Let me get, I'm going to take a breather. I'm going to see if I have a sample I can kind of show you guys of what they end up looking like at the end. Because I know that unless you've seen some of my YouTube videos, you're not gonna know what I'm talking about. But I think at that angle with the camera there, I think you're getting a good visual on the shade. I guess you can see. So it's, let me see if I can, let me zoom in. Hold on. Making messes. So kind of hard to tell, but if you're looking, you see, that's a picture on wood, but those are really thin lines. So you gotta imagine, I fill that with paint. So right now I'm gonna put shellac on it, which is that. It's just a clear coat that kind of makes the, I call these ridges. So there's not like a whole lot of terminology because this isn't like a thing that everybody does. So I have to like kind of make up my own. I make up my own terms for these, for how photo carves are. So that's kind of cool about, I guess, being a pioneer of these things. Not pioneer, I don't know why I said that. That's kind of ridiculous. I'm not bragging, but there just isn't a whole lot of terminology. Anyways, in these ridges, there's valleys. And what's going on there? Never mind. In these ridges, and so as the machine goes over it, the machine over there, trying to get my camera on it, that one, as it carves the lines out, it takes a black and white image, the computer does all that, and then it decides, it decides the negative space, which is just an optical illusion for our own eyes. And once I fill it in, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I actually have an example here, but I don't know. Right here, it's kind of sideways. So let me get my phone off real quick on the stand. All right, so look, right there, I have one I've already done. That's a picture of Mike Tyson right there. And they're just wavy lines, you see? But in between the wavy lines is black paint. You see? You see what that looks like? So, yeah, it's like an optical illusion, and I fill it with black paint. Or I don't know what that is. That's some junk from in the garage. Probably like a barbecue or something. But yeah, you see? You hear that? That's it. But yeah, let's get back to shellacking this because I got to paint it later. So let me put this back at a good angle and finish. So I'll just continue talking. So if this is recording, maybe I can get some clips out of it later. So the photo carve guys, just get yourself a good, if you're not going to spray them, I would recommend spraying them. I run a Harbor Freight, the little cheap $20 Harbor Freight guns. And I have one of the nicer Harbor Freight ones, the middle one, like the Spectrum one. And I also use the little cups that they sell there, the Spectrum system. It's like the 3M version of cups for those guys that paint cars. But if you're thinking about doing these on a regular basis, or even heck, like some of the products I have back there, the swords and all that, if you're doing that on a regular basis, it just makes sense to purchase a sprayer. Obviously doing them by hands, cool, but this would have ended like 5 seconds after it started. So you figure that much. But yeah, if you don't have all the tools, you can still get by. So this is just a cheap brush. They do get stiff after you use them in the shellac. This is the brush I use for this one. I like the stiffness of the bristles because it also helps clean out the little ridges. And as long as you follow the ridges, you're not going to snap any of those off. And I feel like we can get a couple really good coats in and just follow those grooves. And you can really see, I don't know if you can see it on the camera, but when you're doing it in person, you can really see the areas where the shellac is a little thin. And you want to kind of focus on applying a good even layer of shellac, especially on areas that are going to be dark. You know, so hairlines up here, right? Because it's going to absorb a lot more of the shellac in there. And so on those, you want to make sure that you get them on thin, but multiple coats, or else it's just going to be kind of gummy. And what happens is it doesn't dry all the way. I mean, if you let it dry, it will dry. But you know, we're over here, we're trying to move pretty quick, and so I'll put these out in the sun and kind of force dry them or whatever I got to do, so I can get to the next step. Or I'll put them in front of a heater, right? Because when you're doing a bunch of these, you need to be a little efficient. So that's why I recommend the sprayers. But the brush is great too, and I'll tell you why. Because it gets down in those grooves, and when it's in the grooves, it cleans them out. And so you kind of get a better detail at the end. And I believe that with the shellac, a lot of guys don't use shellac. I'm a big fan of it because I think it strengthens the ridges as well. So it makes your ridges a little stronger. I'm not saying you're going to have a perfect sand, because at the end we'll end up sanding all this off, and it'll be wood and whatever is left in the grooves. But here we are on this corner. I don't know, let me see what it looks like on the camera. See, that looks pretty good. It's almost like I antiqued it. It's an antique picture. This is an old photo. I don't really have maybe I can get on my laptop and take the phone over there in a moment, since we're live. But yeah, we'll get this going here, and this is gonna be so cool. This is I like to do them this large. So this one is 22.5 inches wide, right? And it's probably going to be about 30, maybe 40 inches, because the board was 48. So it's a pretty nice sized one. This one's going to look great anywhere in the house. What's kind of really cool about them is that because it's your eyes play a trick on you, and it fills in the blank, because you know what they look like. You know that this is her mother, and I'm assuming her father. But you know what faces look like, you know what eyes look like, but your brain so wants it to be real that it'll kind of blend things for you, and it creates this optical illusion. And I mean, obviously they figured out how to computerize it, and we'll take advantage of that. So let me just get another real quick. I saw some thin spots here, but you really want to let it dry, because in these areas where there's a lot of white, you know, in the coat, some of these highlighted areas, you can't see them. I'm not sure if you can see them from there, but I know you can see the coat. It's really white, but that's because he has a white coat on. But down in these areas down here, let me see, there's a glare, right? You can see right there now. You can see where I got a little thin, and I want to get back in there. And that might also be the brush pulling out some of the sawdust that the blower didn't get. I try to be real gentle with the I have another brush that I use for cleaning it, but we're not going to use it on this one. Just want to go nice and easy. There's a couple thin spots. This one's going to pop when we're done here, so let me move it back over here. Set it down. I don't know if you guys can see that there, but yeah, so basically this is a photo, and let me see if I have another sample back here. I did some other cool ones. I've done some for my collection. I've got, let me see if I can pull one out. So here's one I did that I just need the gentleman, I'll show you here in a moment. He was a fishing guide, and let me set this somewhere, because I'm going to move the camera so I can talk about it. All right. So I'll move the camera over here and lower it. Man, I'm drawing a blank at this guy's name. I didn't know him. I didn't know him personally. But I have a couple friends in the Atwater area. He was a fishing guide. He was a young dude. Just, you know, this was a picture taken probably about a year before he passed. I think it was from natural causes, but it was for a fishing benefit for him, and like a memorial thing. And it was my fault. I carved it without really asking. I just, you know, I went on his Facebook and I kind of grabbed a picture, and I just thought I'd get it carved for him, and yeah, get it carved for him, and then donate it to the family or the foundation or whatever. But we just never ended up linking up. And on Facebook, I've talked to her, I've talked to his mother through a couple messages, and I told her I had it here whenever she wanted to come and grab it. So, yep. So that's a photo carve. That's not completely finished. That's painted and sanded. I mean, it's hard to kind of tell. I'm trying to hold the tripod and all that fun stuff, so I can't really get the best angles. But, yes. And that one is about as rough as, it's going to be about as tall as this one. And so you can still see that's drying. And let me set that down for a second. Wet my whistle. Let me grab another one real quick. Show you guys. Maybe I'll flip that Mike Tyson one over. So you can get pretty creative with it. I think that, well, the guy's name is Ryan. I remember his name. And very loved. There was nothing but great things I've heard about it. And he was a good guide too. Yeah, there was a lot of lakes up here where we live, and a lot of trout and bass and stuff like that. And I heard he was one of the dudes. Better than me. I'm not all that. But let me see where I can set this one down, and I'll showcase it. I've got a couple of them. Bear with me. All right, let me see this. See if we can get this one. Take this off the tripod. And pretty much right now, I'm just going to record this so that later I can download it. But yeah, so this is another photo carve. This is Gangstar. So this was from my own collection and practice back in the days when no one was sharing information on how to do them. No one. It's an expensive software, and it's bundled with another software. So this software is just kind of like a bonus to the main software. But yeah, it's this is a photo carve. So this is on wood, guys. That's wood. It's almost like a record player. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys can see it, but the darker areas are areas that have wider lines, and as it gets narrower, it gets lighter. So as you can see, there are no lines up here, so that's intended to be light. But like in areas on his shoulder, right on top of his coat, kind of hard to tell, but that's top of it. That's his, top of his. I'm drawing a blank over here. It's the top of his jacket, his collar. You see, but it's white. But you can see the lines stop. There's no paint in there. The paint resumes. It resumes on the other side of the lines. So yeah, this is a photo. I grabbed this off of I don't know, somewhere on the internet. But I like Gangstar, so there's the guru right there. Yeah, that's one of them. But let me go put the phone back over here, back on this one, and see how this one's coming along. So we're in the first. If you're just joining, we're doing the first coat of shellac on a photo carve. So we take photos and we carve them into wood. And this is one. It's a memorial piece. It's a very old photo. And we made one. We do a lot of these for funerals. This one we didn't carve into a oval. Usually they want like an oval shape, a big oval. But on this one, we just went straight with a rectangle because of the way the dress flows. We wanted to keep as much of that. You won't see much of that here in the photo until I do more of the finish work. So then, like once this ends up drying up, you can see. I mean, if you guys were here earlier, or maybe I don't know how TikTok works. Can you go back and rewind? So before I applied the shellac on there, you didn't see any of the depth. See, like, I don't know if you guys know, anybody that just chimed in, these are little grooves, almost like a record player. Let me zoom in right here. And you can see they're all carved out. Look at that, that's pretty good for a zoom. But they're carved out perfectly and in certain depths. And see, as I zoom in and out, you can see it went down a little deeper in certain areas and it didn't go as deep. So I know it's probably confusing for those of you watching, but we're at the first stage of a photo carve. We just applied a bunch of shellac. We do arts and crafts here, folks, and we make a lot of scripture stuff. So as you can see there, we either read in the Bible or carve in the Bible or memorializing people's photos, right? So heck, even over here, I'm over here, got the Bible out. I was looking for some more scripture to put onto some of these swords. So like on this one here, is in Spanish. Yeah, let me put it over here. All right, it's a cool little, it's like a little dagger size, right? You can jack someone up. You can jack someone up with it. This is wood, by the way. It's not real, but it's decoration, painted, 3/4 inch thick. But this is Psalms 18:2, right? Lord is my fort and my refugio, my refuge, right? El Señor es mi fortaleza y mi refugio. That's in Spanish. I got another one I made was the sword of the Spirit, the Word of God. So my homeboy Jacob wanted these ones, so I made a bunch. This is much bigger. What do you think I should charge for that? Down below, if you're listening and watching, what would you pay if you were in the market to buy someone a gift? I can't ship these. They're too expensive to ship because they're so dang thick. But locally, like if I go to a craft fair, what should I charge? Let me know down below. And I just want to know what you guys think these are worth if I go to a craft fair. So if you're joining in, we're waiting for this to dry. It's a photo carve. So it's kind of hard to tell, but this is an old photo that was carved into wood, and it has one layer of shellac on it. And we're gonna wait for that to dry, and I'm just kind of talking about crap in my garage while it's drying a little bit, and some of the other stuff that we do. So, for example, there's a cool little one, right? The helmet of salvation, the sword of the Spirit, Ephesians 6:17. So I was just thinking to myself, you know, why not just have it on the walls? I mean, I know it's just but every little bit helps. Keep your armor going. You know, little friendly reminders. You know, here's one that I gotta dust off, but I did like a rustic pink on this one, so you can see it's not white. White, pink, rustic. So I made it miss on purpose on these ones. I have some that are solid, but yeah. What do you guys think? What should I charge at the farmer's market for something like this? Let me know. I'll read the comments later. All right, you guys. Let's go back to. Let me move. I'm going to bring up another one. But here's that Gangstar one that I got. Should probably play some Gangstar in the background. But here's that Mike Tyson one that I was talking about. Yeah, that's wood. And you see, I don't think I have anything else in this one. No more in that pile. I do have a really. Let me set this down for a moment. I do have a really large one over here that I want to grab. Thanks for joining. I apologize. I'm not looking at the comments or nothing. I'm kind of in the middle of working, so I'm just letting the camera roll for a little bit, but I got a double-sided one here. Let me blow off some of the dust. This is kind of one of the first ones I did, and not bragging, but I have yet to see. Alright, I have yet to, so I'm not bragging like I said, but I guess I'll make this a challenge to anybody that does these. So, look at this one. So this is a picture of Tupac. don't know if you guys see this, but to anybody else who does photo carves, I challenge you guys. Look at those are the lyrics. So over here, these are straight lines. Kind of hard to tell, but you can see they're just straight lines like a record player. Well, record player's a circle. These ones, right? You don't see a whole lot of swirly lines in the photo carve world, but me, because I just love art and giving it a shot, I said, if we can do lines, why can't we do the lyrics? And so you can see the lyrics are what? Yeah, even the cross. If you're looking down there, you see that? That cross? Those are lyrics. Those are lyrics. See them? In case you can't tell. But yeah, those are all lyrics. Lyrics of the words. Right? So I think the lyrics I got for this one, I think this one was Dear Mama. I think this one was Dear Mama. Yeah, because you can see it right here. Be real to our women. You know, you can kind of see some of the lyrics. Woman down here. Keep your head up. That's the lyrics for this one. Keep your head up. Yeah, so these are the lyrics. Kind of neat, huh? It's crazy what a machine like that one back there can do with a little bit of artistic ability. But yeah, man, look at it. From a distance, kind of looks cool, don't it? And then when you get close, you find out your eyes played tricks on you. But yeah, man, doesn't that look cool? It was like a white shirt. You can even see like shading around his neck, you know, the inflection of sunlight, you know, the flash, all that, man. It's all up in there, it's in the details. But I got another one on the other side. So this one's a little bit bigger. So let me put this back down. You guys can give me 1 sec. I'm going to move my back. I don't know what it was doing. So this one, same deal, same artist. This one's a little dusty. This is one of my oldest art pieces. Probably putting it down so low isn't the best idea, but same deal. But this is a combination of swirly lines and lyrics. You see how I did the lyrics, right? So you guys can read them. They say the blacker the berry, the sweeter the juice, right? The darker the flesh, the deeper the roots. There it is. But yeah, but check them out, man. Isn't that neat? Look at the chain. So the detail in the chain are just lines. They're just lines. See? They're just lines in the wood, and they have paint in them. But as you back out, probably need like a smoother camera, like a gimbal. That's what I need. I need a gimbal. Thumbs up if you think I need a gimbal. Yeah, so that's what I do. I get to carve cool stuff. It's a hobby. I'd like to get paid to do it. Would that be neat? Well, I do get paid, but yeah, you know what I mean. I'd like to get paid a lot more. I'd like to do it full time. Is what I'd like to do. But yeah, I got this down pretty good. I don't know if there's any photo carvers on TikTok. Maybe I'm number one. I'll take it. And I'll give all the glory to God. Thank Jesus for helping me be the #1 photo carver on TikTok already. Hallelujah. I'll take the claim on that one. Let's go. All for God. Well, you can see, look at, I even got them on my shirt. Let's go, Jesus. And I don't know how much time we got. I'm trying to get some minutes in. They got like this thing where you have to go so much time, and you know, I'm just rocking and rolling. But yeah, if you're new, we're waiting on this photo carve. This is what this is. You're looking at it. I'm not putting my ugly face on it. But this is, originally it was a photo, and then we took it and digitalized it and carved it. This is a carving. This isn't a print or a laser. This is actually carved. I don't know if you can hear it, but those are grooves that are carved into the wood. Yeah, pretty good for the S25. But let's see if I could show you like areas that were supposed to be dark. They'll be whiter. So where the lines are whiter, it's hard to, you can't see, but you can see now. You can see like the edge of the dress. You see that line? That's where the lines get real thin, you see, or they disappear. Anytime that there's flat spots, that's going to be white. So, for example, we'll just do a photo carve class as I'm going right now. His coat, all white. You see how wide the surface area is and how narrow the lines are. And then when it goes to the line in the crease, this is a really good example. But you see how it goes to that line in the crease there? That ends up coming out to be a dark shadow, right? And so that'll get filled up with paint. So right now we just have the shellac in it in there, sealing it. So right now I'm just having it sealed. So anybody that does photo carves or come across this later, they'll know that you can know that in order to get those good results, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm talking about consistent results. Sure, you can get lucky. I've seen a lot of that, but this is a lot of trial and error. A lot of trial and error went into getting these kinds of results consistently. I think that's why a lot of people don't do it, and I thank Jesus for it. And anyways, this will be drying here shortly. I'm trying to see if I have any other little cool projects that are laying around, but no, we don't at the moment. I got some in the house, but I'm not going to stop for that. But yeah, so back to the class where you're here for a photo carve lesson. So once we run it through the software and I clean it up and edit, take it into Photoshop, take out some of the parts. This was an old photo, so it had a lot of the dust specks in it still from the old, when they reprinted it. And so I cleaned all that up. I don't know what the terms are for that. I'm kind of dumb. So I'm sure there's a professional term for that. I just cleaned it up, retouched it, I guess. The same thing. And then I obviously increased the resolution on it so that I can make it a very, very large picture without losing detail. Similar to what we did right there for Ryan. Right, that was his wedding day right there. Rest in peace, brother. But yeah. Similar to what we did there. So that one's not sealed. And that one is just sanded. And so we were waiting to see if they wanted it sealed or not. Once I seal it, I can't sand it back down again. So yeah, that's how it works. And so after we get it off, run it through the machine, set up the bits on the CNC, have my settings in. This takes about 2.5 to 3 hours to carve. It's just one big carve, right? They're all lines that go 45 degrees that way. You can see them kind of there, shiny because it's got the shellac on it. But if you're joining, welcome to the channel. We do a bunch of different stuff. Today it's a Christian channel, but today we're doing some photo carves. This is what we do. We memorialize people's photos. Welcome to OG Big Nick's wood shop. And we're just waiting for this shellac to dry. I don't know why I keep coming back to this one. There's plenty of other things I could look at. But we're talking about it. That's why we're here. And so you can see in these dark areas here where the bouquet is, you'll see them. It's hard to tell now. And I should have taken a picture and just been able to show you guys as a reference. Maybe I'll go back into the laptop and show you. But I wonder if I can pin it. Let me see. Bear with me, guys. Let me see if I can add a picture or something. Anybody knows how to do that? Is there a way to do that? Is there a way to add? Anybody knows how to add like a picture that I can just kind of like have floating? If you know how to add like a floating picture or like screen, half a screen it or whatever, that way next time I can just have it ready to go and you guys can see what this is going to look like or what it looked like as a photo. But yeah, this is a photo. Let me get this off the tripod. And right now it's drying, but it's a photo. You can see it's a wedding photo, and it just has a lot of glare. Oh, there we go. So the CNC goes through and it detects the highlights and the darkness areas, and it basically creates little lines. And the dark spots are deep and wide, and the white areas are narrow lines. It's hard. I don't know if you can. That's all. These are little lines. It's like little grooves, like a record. And so a lot more paint will go in these areas, right? Right here in the eyes, around the nostrils, down in there. Obviously, a lot of paint will go up in here in the hairline, eyes, all that, same thing. A little bit of paint will go on the surface, very lightly. You can see it has very shallow lines, and then it has deep lines, right? And so that's what the paint goes into, and then we can let that dry. So after this shellac dries, we'll go over it with some black, and I'll show you, if you guys weren't here earlier, I'll show you guys kind of what they're going to look like when they're finished. But there'll be a layer of black applied to this once it's dried. We'll let that dry, and then we'll sand all that off, and those are always pretty fun videos. You might be able to see one in my channel. But then eventually, right, this was painted with a gray. This one wasn't done with black, but this is a large photo of Gangstar, which is a rap group, or a rap duo. DJ Premier and Guru. But yeah. So same thing. You can see this is what it looks like without any of the lines. This would be the white sky. And then these are all different thicknesses. And so you can see the highlights, and some of them are there to, look at in the nostril. There's a bunch of smaller thin ones in the nose area, where the highlights are, right on top of his coat, right here. Look at right here. There's no lines. They stop, and then they continue. So that's the same line right there. But that just, this is a highlight. It's almost like a comic book. I don't know if the shading for comic books, it's kind of the same deal. So that's kind of like what's really cool about it is if you can find good images for comic books, I mean, if you can edit your images to kind of reflect what comic books look like, write that down as a tip for you photo carvers. It'll help your photo carves come out nicer. Because it'll get you can start looking at photos the way they're meant to be carved, because they're not, that not all pictures are going to look good on photo carves. And if you think they will, you got a lot of editing to do. And if you know something I don't, let me know. I've tried them, so I'm not afraid of wasting material or router bits. But yeah, here we go. There's nothing but, let's get this one up in the light. I actually know, I'm going to show you guys my very first one I ever did. Let me set this down. Bear with me, I'm going to set the phone down just a sec. So, all right. So this one's with a little bit better lighting. Oh, there we go. Much better lighting now. But yeah. How crazy, huh? Look 3D. That's on wood, man. Don't have to be a crystal ball or nothing. It's kind of looks like that. See that girl? It's like right here. Look at this girl. Look at her. She just looks like she's peeking her head around the corner when I turn the camera over there. Look at like she's like, I'm hiding. Kind of trippy, huh? But yeah, man, these are so cool. But yeah, oh man, I should have, what's up, people? I didn't even know there's people, oh my gosh, there's people watching. Hallelujah. Obviously, my daughter is watching. Thank you, Caitlin. I hope you guys can hear me. Let me see here. Whoa. Hallelujah. That's cool. Hey, I appreciate everybody. Wow. Wow. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching my art. So yeah, so this is a photo carve. If you're not watching and you're just tuning in, there's a photo carve. But these are lines that are carved by the machine that these are sitting on. I lay them down here on this waste board and clamp them down with this. And then this machine here, you can't see it because it's behind that. But basically there's a router that is computerized, a CNC, and it takes the photos that we design, and obviously we got to run it through a software, but that's what we do. And oh, sorry, let me put this back on a tripod over here. So let's move back over here because this isn't quite ready, but we will make it ready. All right. Sorry, folks, that camera work there was doo-doo. So let's go back to talking about shellac. For anybody that's chiming in, the shellac, why I use it. You don't have to, but I've just found that the results for the photo carves are just so much cleaner. Look at that. Look at the detail in the bouquet. I know it's upside down in this area here, but look at the waves on the dress. You see the waves, and then the sweep. You see that down there? This whole area is going to look pretty cool once we paint it. You're going to see it's the reason I have the camera on that. So, well, let's turn this around. Let's see if maybe we can turn it around and change the glare and change the game. Helped a little bit. Still not a big fan of that angle, but let me see. Alexa, turn off the garage lights. Let's see if that helped. Helped quite a bit. So this is here we are in the garage. It's dark, but we got the glare coming in from the garage windows. But yeah, so this is going to be drying here. And hey, follow me. We're going to be doing this quite often. At least about an hour a day, I'm hoping. Different carves that I got come in. I got a couple more tomorrow that we're going to do in the evening. I might do them tonight. I'll have them ready to go for video purposes. But yeah, welcome to OG Big Nick's Wood Shop. We do this and we talk about the gospel. So we got big old swords with scripture on them, but I'm off camera at the moment because I'm going to put a lid on the shellac here. And I gotta find my hammer. A hammer. Somewhere. Who else can't find their hammer in the garage? Yeah, see, like with the lines, depending on where you go, the lines, they don't look as good. See, you kind of start losing them right there. But over here from this angle, it's just crazy how what you can do with, well, yeah, computers. Computers can do it. Excuse me, that was loud. Apologize if you're in the workshop. All right. So what are we at the moment? I don't know how to tell time-wise. I guess we'll be unlocking certain things. Add live goal. I guess we can unlock that at a certain time. I don't know what any of this stuff is. Is there 5 of you in here? Can't tell. Anybody leave any comments? Is there a comment? How's that work? No. I can't unlock. It says 25 new messages. Oh, I gotta scroll. All right. Let's see here. I'm gonna go back and wave at these people for joining my... Welcome to the channel. Sorry I'm not on camera, but this is a photo carve. You're looking at a photo carve. This is wood. I'm learning how to do this, so bear with me. Not this, but I'm learning how to use TikTok because I'm an old weirdo. And there's a ton of likes, so it's hard to get to all the comments. But I appreciate all the likes. I really, really, really love you guys for that. So this is a photo carve. We took a photo. It's a memorial piece. It's an old wedding photo. And let me see here. Old wedding photo. Sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I think these are cool. And the machine carves them. We fill them with slack and then we paint them. So right now we're just waiting for this to dry a little bit more. And then we're going to paint it. And then we're going to let that dry. And then we're going to sand that. And we're going to go from there. So Alexa, turn on the garage lights. Let's get the shop lights back on. Let's go ahead and just paint it. Let's go ahead and... I'm going to spray it, actually. No, I want to spray this one. So how many of you guys keep your spray guns in the refrigerator? Nice and cold. This is a Harbor Freight, the mid-range, whatever. But look, I can keep all my paint up in here. And this bad boy sits up right here. All here. Break them out. But yeah. Who else uses their sprayer in the fridge? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this up over here for the time being. And move this outside so I could spray it. And put on safety gear. In the meantime, I'm going to leave that going. You guys can hear me working in the background. Be back in one moment. I got to open up the side door. I think it's like 100 degrees here in Modesto. So it'll dry super quick. But it's also shady on that side, so that's awesome. The dog will like it. And as soon as I get this out there, we'll take this out there with it. And film it. All right. All right. I don't know if you guys can hear me from over there in the shop. I'm just moving some stuff around. I'll move the camera in a moment. Here we go. I'm grabbing everything. I'm gonna head outside. Don't mind the mess. Hopefully you don't see all the mess everywhere. But we're going outside to the side shop area, and we're gonna set up the camera to spray or catch me spray. Catch the neighbors go swimming. You hear that? All right, we're about to paint this here in a moment, and let me get this ready. This is just black house paint, Harbor Freight, Spectrum. I got the cut. These are awesome. You get these. These are awesome for storing paint. You can take them off. You buy this little separately here. So this is, you can buy the cheap $20 gun. This is like $6, and then the cups. I think the starter kit's like 15. But yeah, this is it. And obviously your regulators, all that fun stuff. And then these couplers are awesome too, the speed. So this is universal. It doesn't matter what nipple you have. You can have the automotive ones, any of them. But this is also sold over at Harbor Freight, the Merlin crap. I've gone through a couple of them. It doesn't come with a gauge, and this gauge doesn't work. I just use it for the valve. But yeah, and we're just spraying it thick and quick, so it doesn't need. I don't need to worry. I'm not painting cars, guys, right? So we just get a good coat, right, just like that. We'll go back over it a couple times at different angles. So we'll come with a gun at different angles. I try to get it pretty thick the first time and straight up and down, but even with the shellac, I don't know if you guys can hear me talking, but even with the shellac on it, it'll still absorb a little bit. And so you'll see some areas that the paint has gone in deeper. Normally I would run the air compressor. I'm trying to use what's left in the tank. I didn't want to run it while the camera was running. But yeah, let's get this painted, let it dry, and we'll come back. We'll go back in the shop here in a moment. So this is just kind of the end of the, I probably need it, you can see in here, it's running low. So that it's a combination of air pressure in the tank and just a little bit of paint that I have left in there, but you know, it's not, I don't need, this isn't rocket science. Just applying it nice and evenly. It takes a couple extra minutes. I just didn't want to wait for the tank to fill back up. So we'll let this dry for a moment here, but you guys won't be able to see what I see, but these look really cool just like this. Painted just like this. But I just can't get any takers to keep them. You know? This one would be an awesome one to leave. And the other tip for the other photo carvers, or if you're a new photo carver, you need some tips. In the dark areas, it's better to go light coats, multiple lights. So I didn't try to hit it too much in that area and then up here, because you want to help build up the ridges. And a lot of times what happens is when you apply too much paint or too thin or too thick of coats, that it wets that edge on the ridge. It wets it and it creates it to be like soft. So then later when you go to sand it, the sander just chips that bad boy off. So you don't want to go too heavy in the real dark areas. And that's what's great about sprayers. You know, everybody wants to get spray cans. If you got the spray cans, don't use them. I mean, last case scenario, spray cans are trash. And they're expensive. But look, you guys are watching, we're outside now in the light. So we just painted it black. You guys remember it was shellac a little bit ago. And yeah, you can totally see. I appreciate everybody chiming in. I don't know what the little things are at the bottom or at the top. I'm just kind of filming. Pretty cool, huh? So this is a photo carve, guys. And you can see, remember earlier we were talking about the paint going in there. This is all going to get sanded off. Don't be confused. The white area, the areas that you see that are light, those areas, those are going to be sanded. And so when they get sanded off, they'll be the white color. They'll be the color of the material, you know, and or we can stain it a little bit too to kind of change it. But it'll be back to this, but the paint that's in the line stays. And so like in these dark areas, it looks like I'm touching it, but I'm not. I'm like half an inch up. But in these dark areas, in that corner of the sleeve, right, in the shadow, the paint goes in there, and you can see they make it deeper. You guys know how it works. I'm not talking to morons. So, and then same thing with the pant leg, you know, his pant leg there. And then the cool thing about his pant leg, I darkened it in the editing. So we'll talk about the editing here. Let me put the camera down. And so we'll go over editing the photos. So if you're interested in photo carving, we'll talk about it. So a couple of things I do that'll help separate you. This, you know, I'm not a gatekeeper. I want everybody to have a good time photo carving. But so if you guys see here in the photo, I don't have the example to show you, but in the photo, the pant leg and the side here of the background, it was real similar. And so the leg was getting lost in the background. And so I created a highlight. So the opposite of a shadow, right? Like a shadow's over here. That's a shadow. This would be a highlight behind them. So we highlighted that. But yeah, you can see so this is gonna be a highlight. This will be a highlight. All the white areas are gonna match the color of his jacket. And you can see how like this isn't gonna be as white as that. You see that part? Let me get down there closer. So in this area here in the photo, you see how some of the lines are a little bit whiter and then there's no lines there. Well, obviously that's gonna be the wood color. So there's a balance. So if you're watching and you're trying to learn how to do the photo carves and editing your photos, there's a balance between having too much white at the top and pushing it back. Think of, you don't want, because obviously his jacket's white. So in theory, there shouldn't be any lines in it, except for maybe a couple little shadow lines. So I had to lighten that quite a bit and add shadow to kind of give it some lines to it, to give it contrast, or else it would have just been stark white. It's hard to see here. You'll see later once I sand it down. But you can see like right here, I need to go back over it with some paint. I don't know if you can see it, but yeah. So the balance is if the white, let's think of this as a 3D surface, the paint or the bodies and the dress and everything. And let's imagine that the whitest part of the dress is going to be the top where the light hits the brightest. Okay, this is just like an analogy, and everything below it is going to be shade behind it. There's not going to be anything brighter than this because this is the brightest part. Well, if this is a part of the background, how's that going to look if she's wearing white and this is supposed to be way back there in the, and it's in the foreground and it needs to be in the background, but it's white. Unless we duplicate some sort of lighting, but we can't do that in this. There's nothing here for us to get that from. And so what we have to do is we have to learn how to create depth in the photo so that the furthest point of the dress here, which is probably going to be the front of her knee. I mean, this is probably the closest thing to us right here, right? But the whitest thing here is the front of her, and then it goes back. You see? And so I did a little bit here on him, but he's not the focus. She is. You see how I centered her in the photo? And so she's right down in the center. This will help you guys get better job editing. Obviously it's a wedding photo and both of them are in the wedding, but it's a photo for her memorial. And so we're gonna let this dry, and we're gonna take a couple of loads back into the shop, the garage. I don't know why I said shop. Let's go back to the garage, back into the mess. Yeah, here we are, clean slate, and we'll just showcase a few things, I guess. So I'm gonna put my gun. Hey, so Harbor Freight special, the cup gun special. They got them all this is from Harbor Freight. You can get the cheapest setup they have would be the $20 gun, $22. I think the set of this, the starter kit's like 15 bucks. And then you're gonna need to buy the adapter. And the adapter is like $7. It's all right there in the paint section at Harbor Freight. This one's the Spectrum gun, which is like their mid-grade. I like it. I want to say it's better than the cheap one, but I don't know. I'm not doing fine finish work, so I'm not really tripping on that. But the cool thing about them is that you can pre-fill the cups. It's almost like baby bottles. You can pre-fill them and then cap them and then put them. I keep all mine in the fridge. And so let me get this off. I'll show you. So even I put them in here, and that's sealed up here up top. I mean, it's pretty risky, right? But this cap is sealed onto that. And I keep it right by my olives, or my wife's olives. No, but yeah, so this is primer. No, this is Scuff X. This is a good paint. That's probably why I didn't throw it out. So this is good for bathrooms and such. But outdoor signs, I use it on. Here's some white primer, and I always can know it's primer. So once it starts settling, the top turns pink in the cold. You shake it up. Let it warm up. Back to new, this is primer. So I can clean out a gun real quick with some water. Fill up one of these with water. So I'd fill this up with water. Take this one off. Put that one on. Spray it all out. But yeah, I store them. Look, you can just kind of keep them. You know, some of them I have. I don't know why this. Normally I would have this and like that, but I didn't. So yeah, I mean, you can see they're just like big baby bottles, full of paint. But yeah. But I highly recommend if you're going to do a lot of, especially when you're doing a lot of painting, like on these right here, it's great. It's great to have a sprayer for those kinds of projects, right? It takes but seconds, you know, and you don't waste a lot of paint. You might get a little bit of overspray, but when you're painting in all the black, man, it's so much quicker than trying to do a couple of coats of with a roller or sponge. You gotta remember, we're also we paint over them like another coat. So if you're seeing this and you're like wondering why it looks like doo-doo, it's because it needs another coat. But you can see, like on these, imagine just going over these multiple times with brushes, it wouldn't be as smooth. But I actually like them when they're solid black like that. Take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the spirit. So what I'll end up doing is putting a little hole right here so they can hang. What I do too is I'm going to get another little, I didn't do it here, but I have another little sword or another helmet that I have that's smaller. And so what I do is I set it down and then I spray paint the back and then remove that, and it stays, the silhouette stays, and I write some scripture in them. So not on all, I don't paint all the backs of them at once. Some of them I do, like on the swords. Some of the swords are all painted on the back. You know, I'll just put a hole on the top up here. Yeah. Here's one that's just, I mean, it's pretty raw on the back. That one's pretty cool. Set that one down right here for the time being. You'll grab a couple other ones. Here's the word. Hallelujah. Then we got, for you Harley guys, we got the black and orange. Right there. You got the orange right here. Let me set this one down. Oh, it's still covered with dust. Nope. It cannot stand on its own. There we go. You couldn't see that anyways. I don't know how I was playing. You guys are off camera. Yeah, I mean, this is basically loading up for a craft fair. If you're watching, let me know what you guys think I should charge for these. I'm not trying to sell them to you. It costs too much to ship. They're too big. All right, let's measure it. So this one, .30 1/2 inches. I mean, if I can get a good price on shipping, I'll ship them out, but it just doesn't really worth it. I mean, that's why I'm going to try to get into like some local stuff. But yeah, just kind of in between the photo carve. So I'm going to move some stuff around because I got one more coat to paint on the photo carve on the black. I'm going to hit some spots real quick, but I'm going to swap out the I might as well just do it on camera. So I just pulled off the cap. Backwards here. Take this one. Take it off. Make sure you got it tight. Don't be an idiot like me. Click it over one. Yeah, see, I didn't have it on tight all the way. It wasn't going to leak anyways. But yeah, that's it. You're ready to go. Full blast. That's how quick you go. And then this one here, they have filters. They have pre-filters in the top. Watch this. Let me go grab it. I'm going to grab one real quick, an empty one. All right. So this is what the box is. It's the Spectrum Universal Paint System. There's 30 in here. This is the refill kit. So you'll need, it doesn't come with the actual cup. The cup, these ones here, probably should get the link in Amazon for this. Because you can get 4 of them for about 25 bucks and it's worth it. I know you're thinking like 4 for 25 bucks. Yeah, because when you buy them in here and you buy this kit, the kit's 15 bucks and you get 1 when you buy the actual starter kit. So there's a starter kit that's similar to this. This is the refill kit. I don't have a box of the starters, but here's all the, you get 10 liners, 10 lids, and 10 of the caps. So they come, here's what I wanted to show you is here's the caps, here's the lids. When you go to put the, I'll just do it now. So be careful when you pull it out. You can see it's separate. So I think what the problem is on this one is there's 2. I think there's 2 cups. Anyway, we'll just set it aside for the time being. But you'll get your cup. That in there. What you'll want to try to do at the beginning is once you fill it up, or whatever you're putting your liquid in, you're going to want to put this on first, but you don't. You want to take this off because you're not going to get a good seal. And that's what happened. So when you start over again, take it out, fill your liquids in there, set it down all the way down until it clicks. I don't know if you can see. And now you put your lid on. Off camera, obviously. But yeah, and that's it. And then to store it, put your lid back on. But yeah. But here's the cool thing in these is they have a strainer. A little mesh strainer. And I believe it's like, I don't know. What does it say? It's pretty thin. It's the same strainer that's in the little paper cups with the strainers in them. But it does a pretty good job. As long as the liquid stays wet, I haven't really had any issues where it's dried in there. And I mean, obviously you've seen in my fridge, I kind of keep them going for quite a bit. But let me get these all put away. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty cool. They're at Harbor Freight. They are a great addition to your setups. If you need to be able to change colors quickly, or even sorry, I'm looking for another can of paint. I'm gonna fill one up for you. So here we got. We're gonna go ahead and fill this one up. We'll just start fresh. So we'll put this one. This one has still quite a bit of paint in it. I probably should still try to use it. So I'm going to save this one. It still has quite a bit of paint in it, but I want this because this is a different brand. I'm not going to mix them. Let me get the opener and we'll get it off. So I'll just shake it a little bit. Bear with me, man. We got about 5 more minutes and I'll bring that photo carve back in and we'll get to sanding. So I'm just filling up the guns for the next round of projects. So you can see it. I've used some of this already out of this can, but it'll pretty much fill, this quart can will fill one of these cup guns. I can get a lot of photo carves and a lot of swords and shields painted with these, with the sprayer. If I just use the brush, you end up wasting a bunch. So like I said, here we go. A little dirty here. It's all right. We're on MDF. But here's the cup. Get some of that paint out. Not that I don't think that's going to matter. But I took the lid off, the cap, put it on, snap it down into place. Seal it, and then at the bottom there's a hole down here on the bottom of the cup. Let me tilt this. That hole there, you can use your finger. At the beginning, it's easy to do because there's not a whole lot of air in here, but you're going to push the paint through. You kind of see it filling. That's going through that filter. And you want to get out as much of the air as possible. So, for example, keeping it in here is going to last longer than keeping it in here, if you think about it, because we're going to eliminate a lot more air out of this lid here than what was left. In the can. So, now we're sealed, pushed all the air out. That can go back in the fridge. There's still enough in here for some touch-up. So this is a good one if you guys ever need it. Flat black, Home Depot. But yeah, I'll save this for some just brushing. There's enough in there for doing some touch up and stuff like that. You end up doing a lot of touch up in these because depending on the roller, you might get some on the black or whatever. You need to go back over it. But yeah. Let me start clearing this off here because we are about to do some sanding and I'm going to move it to another table. Bear with me. I got too many workbenches in the garage. So we're about to, I'm just I'm cleaning up the spot over here. And I guess I might as well just show it. We'll move over to the spot. Here's going to be the spot. And I'm going to clear off some of the stuff. There's one of those couplers that I was telling you guys about that's universal. Any of them will go in there, and then when you have pressure, that locks up. So if you have that coupler right there will work for any of them. Best, and they have them out at Harbor Freight for $10. Photo carvers. Another thing you're going to need is sometimes you'll get a roller. Get one of these weenie rollers and let it harden up. Get some paint in it. You know, don't go rinse it out, but don't get all the paint out of it so that you have one for hard surfaces. So like when you're doing the photo carves, what you don't want is the paint to go inside into the grooves. Like if you want to, this is for if you wanted to add a layer on top of on the grooves. So this is after the black. So after we've done the black and we sanded it, and say you wanted to kind of give it like another little tint of white or something, or maybe like a blue or pink or something, you can apply a real thing. You gotta work it out until there's just enough left, and then draw from that and basically get it to where you're not getting a lot of penetration, because it doesn't take much to get the paint back in those black grooves. So bear with me, I'm gonna set up the next phase here for carving and sanding, and let you guys go ahead and see what we're dealing with here. See, dust collection, I gotta set that up, be right back. Right. So we're back with the photo card. That wasn't a smart place to put it. Let's put this back up here. Let's see how the camera looks. We're about to start sanding. So I think it'll be, let me see here now, let me see. Some angles are better than others, I'll tell you that much. A very nice one, so we want to make sure that the angle is really good on this one for the good lighting. Welcome to OG Big Nick's. We're going to do a photo carve. Let me walk around here and see where I think the best angle is going to be for viewing. It sucks because the best angle is this one, and you're going to have to watch it upside down, and I don't want you to. Let me see over here. See, that's how much I care about you guys. I just want nothing but the best. How about there, I think. I should do the whole thing, and then I'll do a zoom after. Let me see here. Okay, bear with me, guys. Plugging in the dust collector, and then I gotta plug a couple of the outlets for the air, and we'll be ready to roll. We're gonna get this carving real quick. There's some fresh sandpaper. Let me see what you guys see, and then I'm gonna get going. Okay, so we're gonna get new sandpaper on. For this one, we're gonna go 150. Hold on. I thought I was going to go 150. We are going to go 150. Alright. So, I like to use that brand. The Cubitron or whatever. This is the 150. The net discs, and then I need that. Let me get some of my tools set up. I have the blower. And a wire brush. Alright, here's what we're using today. Harbor Freight. And something that my wife bought off of Amazon. It was just a blower. And you'll see, but we're about to start sanding. Bear with me on the noise. Right. So I'm going to try talking. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to hear me, but as I sand, I want to keep this thing moving pretty quick. You can see how quickly I'm moving it. This is real time, guys. Real time. And so I see a couple spots I already got to make repairs to right here. And that could be for whatever reasons, maybe a ridge collapse. Can you guys hear? Give me a thumbs up or whatever if you can hear while I'm sanding. Because if not, I won't waste my time. I can talk about it afterwards. But I'll just keep talking because I need to practice. So you want to keep it moving. And then depending on how big your photo carve is, you start noticing that your sandpaper just isn't getting any more bite. So you can kind of, sometimes the sandpaper starts getting these little boogers on them. This one isn't bad. So we'll just keep going. Keep it light. So you remember in the photo, if you remember where the light spots were in the dress, and also in the coat right here. You already know those are going to be the lightest parts. So as you're sanding, pay attention to that. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to switch sandpaper already. So you want to keep it fresh on a photo carve this size, and especially one that's this nice. Just go through it. You don't need to risk it. Swap it back out. I normally run a 120. These are 150s. I'm out of the 120, so if you can, give me a hand and buy some. But these are 150, so they don't cut as quickly as the 120s. They do get gummed up here a little quicker. That just tells me that I didn't wait long enough. That's my fault. But let's continue. So what I was saying here is I know that this is going to be very white. So I want to move across this real quick and remove as much of the black as possible, but you can see the amber of the shellac. So I still have a little bit of shellac to go through. And that's that sacrificial coating that the shellac provides. So, and you can see, look at the black pants and the highlight I was talking to you guys about earlier. There's some sort of owie right there. Right there too. Yeah. So we'll continue. Just keep it moving. So you can see going through them, but it's all good. Alright, so let's zoom in on it before I dust it. So you guys can kind of see. See what I'm talking about? Hi! And it's going to look a lot better in a moment here. Check it out. Let me get this and this. Hold on. So you got the brush, and then we got the blower. And so we'll just do like a, let me set this back down, and we'll just do like a reveal, I guess. All right. So you want to go carefully with the wire brush, obviously in the direction of the grooves, and carefully brush out any of the dust. I wanted to show you here in a moment. This one actually came out pretty good. There's a couple of hiccups here. I'm not sure where they came from, but they're not deal breakers because this is a fabulous. This one came out great. You put this down and what do you guys think? I'm wondering if I should have filmed it with another camera so I'd have a not pretty cool, huh? I told you, it's a gift. It's a gift. It doesn't even look real, man. It's so real. Submit it. So yeah, that's what we do. We do that all day long. Those are the little lines. See the lines? I think I should probably retire. Not sure I'll be able to top it. But you know what? We're gonna have to try. Dang, that was a good one. Okay, let me get this back on the stand. Turn off the air, because you don't need it. That was loud. That was louder than it needed to be. Get this taken care of. Man, that came out so freaking good. Alright. Picking up some of the stuff on the ground. I should have picked up, now the table's out of the way, I can. Let's get this. One of the cool things about moving things, you find the things that you move things for. And they're right where you left them when you moved them. So there you have it, folks. That's a photo carve. That was from a photo that was taken a long time ago at a wedding. And we took it, and it's for a memorial piece. Man, what an amazing detail it came out. Look at, told you, look at the flowers. Remember? Well, see, you guys can't see them like I could see them, but here you, in the flowers. Yeah. All glory to God. All right, what do you guys want to do next? Let me see. I probably need to cut it short anyways. I got things to do. Let me, what does that button do? No, I don't need that. Flip camera. There we are. Hey, thanks for joining here at the shop. We're I'm going to call it a live stream here in a moment. I might jump back on later tonight and do it in front of the computer while I'm on there, so I can mess around with the buttons and learn how to do it. But I'm going to tell you something that that dad's helping dads thing or supporting dads thing is pretty cool. I mean, I know that TikTok doesn't work off of it's not like Facebook and all that, so it's a little bit different. But what I've learned is that because it's not like Facebook, you can put whatever you want. You know, you can kind of, you know, recreate however you want to do it, right? So if you want to have a page that's just nothing but faceless videos of cool looking cars, you can do that. You can figure out a way to make money doing that. And you'll find people that look for that stuff. That's the cool thing. And we're like Facebook, it's just different. People who know. And that's why TikTok works the way it does. It's got its own little evil, right? But the Lord said what is bad can be meant for good, right? So we're gonna take TikTok, we're gonna take over, right? We're gonna create the light and just be the encouragement on this side of the spectrum of the internet realm. But regardless, thanks for watching. That was a photo carve. I appreciate everybody that my girl, my wife, all my daughters probably had to pull over and we're probably hitting the like buttons the whole time. I appreciate you guys. Love you. And I'll see you guys when you get home. And I'm going to roll out. You guys take care. God bless. I don't even know how long have I been going for. Is this some sort of new world record? Did I break TikTok? Is TikTok broken? 16,500 Ks. Whatever that is. The hearts. Thank you. What are all the buttons? No. All right. Take care, guys. Peace out.